Welcome back to New Game Reacts. I'm really hyped right now. It's been about maybe 19 or 20 days just to hear some news for the new Avatar the Last Airbender series on Netflix coming out on February 22nd. I am extremely excited. On one hand, I'm like 85, 95, 90% excited, but the other part of me is gonna be worried because say season 1 does do well on Netflix. Season 2 and 3, how are they gonna make it again without the original creators? What are they gonna do with the story? Will any of the original cast ever watch the series? Will they even be able to support it without, like, how does, this is the one thing that bothers me about the show. What are they gonna do? Like me as a fan of the original series, I'm looking forward to it on one hand to see what they're gonna do with the show that we love and grew up with. But at the same time, I'm wondering, what they only could do so much, especially if they don't have the creators, Brian DiMartino and Michael Konietzko. Michael DiMartino and Brian Konietzko. I said it backwards. I swear I said it backwards. Sorry. Anyway. Without the original creators being a part of the series, I don't know how the show does more than one season. And I know it sounds crazy, and maybe it will be really successful. Will it be a big hit? Everyone's gonna love it. That's fine. But again, what about the cast? Every one of the cast members, what if they watch the show? Can they be excited for something that they're not a part of? That the original creators aren't, can they support something that's the original creators aren't supporting because they left the project? They did not like whatever they were doing with the show. Creative differences. They're just not supporting it. So I wonder what's going to happen with the series overall. Personally, I'm looking forward to it, but I just hope that maybe one day both Michael and Brian come back. Maybe. Hopefully. If Netflix realizes that, like with One Piece, the OG creator was on the entirety of what they put on Netflix, and what happened? Not only did old fans who grew up with the show and watched it love what they did with it live action, but new fans came into it. You could come into it and watch it, get the basic understanding of all the characters, what their role are, everything that they are about. And it worked for both sides, old and new fans alike. So this Netflix series is going to have that advantage of having the OG creators on the series with them, beginning, middle, and the story arcs, the way the characters are created, their dynamics. It's going to be a little different, but hopefully it's good. I just don't know how the show's going to keep going, but let's see what happens. Here we go.
We just survived the Avatar drought. 19 days without any official new images or trailer, but I always believed. You guys might have lost hope, but I always believed. Being just a little over 1 month away from release, Netflix decided to release some new promo images of Avatar today. But that isn't the only interesting thing we have for today. We also finally have trailer news, and we know when that's going to be coming out, which is great. We'll get to that at the end of the video. But we also have a really cool interview with Albert Kim, who is the showrunner of Netflix's Avatar live action. He did an interview with the FFX magazine where he goes on to reveal a couple of really cool things. He goes on to talk about Azula's role in season 1, along with tough times after the original creators left production. As always, I'm going to be covering everything I just mentioned, so if you don't want to miss anything, well, you better stay until the end of the video. Firstly, let's talk about the new information about Albert Kim's reaction to Mike and Brian leaving the production. He tells FFX magazine that there was a moment where he stepped back to think. What is this going to look like without them involved? He goes on to say that he felt very confident in the direction they had charted, and Netflix was also very enthusiastic about where things were going. So everything just felt organic to continue the show, even after they left, but it wasn't easy. There was definitely a moment like, wow, this is gonna be tough. I would have loved to have them as people I could talk to and consult and collaborate with, but again, that was a personal decision on their part. After that happened, it was just about moving forward the best we could, and what we felt was best for the project. He later goes on to talk about the overlap period between him and Bryke. A lot of people seem to think it was just Bryke leaving, then Albert Kim coming in and taking over, but there was actually a good bit of overlap there. I was really thrilled to ask them about everything, from even outside of what the show's going to be about, and just my own personal interest having followed the series for so long. He goes on to say that it was really fun talking to Bryke, and he also got to pick their brains on what the show should and could be. In this part of the magazine, Albert Kim goes on to detail more changes to the live action series. He goes on to say that the original series never showed the Fire Nation attacking the Southern Air Temple, and that's something we do in our vision. During the interview, Kim goes on to reveal that the antagonist Azula features much more heavily in the new series' first chapter than she did in the animations. This is because he and the writers had the advantage of knowing a lot of the things that are ahead, and they absolutely play into that. He continues with the new issue saying, "We know how big of a character Azula becomes in the series, so we had the benefit of hindsight in fleshing out her character and being able to tell a story with..."
Hold on. Halo Season 2. The first season was abysmal! Sorry, but I love Halo. But I watched recaps of the first season because I wanted to know how bad it was, and it is the worst, one of the worst adaptations of a video game to TV / serialized movie, whatever, I've seen in my life. They destroyed the lore. They threw away the important things like Master Chief not taking off his helmet. He doesn't take it off. We play the games. Master Chief Collection. What does he do? It stays on his what? His head. The characterization was wrong. The fact that Master Chief was all about having intimate relations. What the? Master Chief doesn't take. The show was disgusting. Again, in my opinion, no disrespect to anyone out there that likes it. If you love it, hey, that's your prerogative. I respect your opinions on that if you love the show. But even though it was uncreative, it was like, I don't know what that is, but that's not Halo. People from the games, musical artists, they're like, that's not Halo. I don't know what this is. So it's not just me. Anyway, that makes me angry. Oh, but I'm looking forward to watching the recap videos on it, because I know they're gonna get roasted again, because I know it's gonna be worse just like the first season. What are they gonna do? The characters were just abysmal. Anyway, sorry for the rant. I can't.
Her in season 1. If I'm being honest, the only idea I have for including Azula in season 1 is just for Zuko's backstory. While going through Zuko's backstory to fully understand why he is the way he is, it would make sense to show Azula in some of those scenes. In season 1, we only knew about his dynamic with Ozai. We didn't really know about his whole dynamic with Azula. That wasn't really fleshed out until season 2. So having that information there could help out a lot. But we also know Mei and Ty Lee are in the series as well. It's just really hard to properly speculate as we've seen so little of the actual show. Now, Albert Kim goes on to explain again, like he did many times, that this show is going to be more of a serialized drama. It's not going to be an adventure of the week type show. And they all knew that they wanted to change some things, but just not for the sake of change. He confirms that there's going to be a reason behind every change. Now, Albert Kim didn't really want to say too much about these changes, but luckily, the show comes out next month, so we're gonna see. Now, I agree, the format has to change. In the original cartoon, they just popped the characters wherever they needed them when it was convenient. If they needed them in Omashu, the next episode they would start in Omashu. The gang would kind of just popped from place to place to place at the start of each episode, and they can't really do that when they have an 8-episode drama series. It just isn't gonna work.
Okay, in my opinion, I'll just be honest with this. They technically didn't really do much popping. From the first episode to the final, there was always a process, progress, a journey. Again, from I remember I'm watching it now on Netflix as we speak. I love it. It's amazing. My favorite show of all time. Doctor Who's my favorite live action. Animated by this Avatar the Last Airbender, and there's no way. But for me, I remember in the first episode of season 1 to the last, there was progress. Now, obviously, they were popping sometimes, but we kind of knew where they were going at the end of each episode, what they were going to do. And I never remember an episode where it just popped up somewhere and we were at a point to where we're like, wait, how did they get there? They're in a monster. Well, they're in a monster. We kind of knew where they were going, what they were doing, what their goal was, beginning, middle, and end for each season, each storyline that was there. I think they did that pretty well, actually. And then again, it's for a kids show. It's been 2005 that it came out, so wow. It's 19 years this year. The show's been out. It's 2005 that it came out in the beginning. And the show to this day still stands as one of the best written and well constructed shows of all time. So I love this channel. The Avatars, you're awesome. Sorry for the random words I call it.
Finally, we get to the promotional images. First up, we have this new image of Aang. He's in this sort of crane stance, which is surprising. I don't think we've ever seen Aang do a crane stance in the original. I don't know if you guys have ever played For Honor, but all I can think about is Nobushi right here. If you guys played For Honor, you know exactly what I mean. I know all of these images of Aang on top of the mountain are sort of like an homage to this iconic image right here. I do like the extra detail Netflix adds. In the original, it was just Aang on top of a mountain with the whole mountain range in the background, and that's all you see. But in this image right here, you can see an air temple in the background with, of course, the iconic mountains. Now that I see this air temple, I'm actually curious what the other air temples are going to look like. Like, are they going to be exactly the same as this one? Because this one looks exactly like the one we see in the trailer, so maybe it's just the same one. Or are they going to make them all look different like in the cartoon? I don't know. They could go either way. Katara. Always looking fire. Every time we see new images of Katara, I'm like, that's Katara, man. I actually don't think they could have found a better Katara. Obviously, we haven't seen any of the characters acting yet, so I'm just going purely off aesthetics. Katara is in more of a Tai Chi-esque type stance. Forgive me if I'm wrong. Traditional martial arts have never been my thing. I know a little bit about them, but I've always been more of a modern fighting kind of guy, which is why I kind of relate to Korra a lot more. I love this water drip effect they have going on here with the water bending. As the water is getting pushed forward, bits of water are dripping off. If that's truly representative of what we're going to be getting in the show, then I like that. That's gonna be fun. I do actually find this kind of funny. There's the igloo in the background, some footsteps, and Katara over here looking really serious and waterbending. All I'm imagining in my head right now is her coming out of the igloo, walking 20 feet away and striking a pose for the camera. Like, it's just kind of silly. Here we have Sokka in Kyoshi Village holding up his boomerang. I don't really have a lot to say here, as we've kind of seen Sokka hold up his boomerang in every image now, but he looks cool. I do like the Kyoshi Village being more hut-like. I think they had like brick on their ceilings for some reason in the original, but this makes sense. Lastly, we have this image right here of Zuko in the Fire Nation. When I first saw this image, at first glance, I was like, oh, he's in Kyoshi Island and it's getting burned down. But no, it's actually just the Fire Nation. And it almost looks like the Fire Nation capital, which we never got to see until season 3 in the original. So maybe we are getting those scenes of Azula and Zuko interacting in the Fire Nation. Flashbacks, of course, not like current day stuff, but that would be a really fun change. We've seen Zuko in this outfit so many times now, it's not really anything new, although I never noticed those little dragon scales on the bottom of his outfit, along with the Fire Nation insignia right there too. Wait, I just noticed something huge. All of these images say master your element. Water, fire, earth, air. Netflix is trying to tell us that there is an all new element being added. Boomerang bending. It's been right in front of our eyes the entire time. Master your element. Boomerang bending. As for the official trailer, we finally have a big update. The official trailer after party is set to go live on Monday on Netflix's official YouTube channel. So that means the trailer has to either be today, tomorrow, Sunday, or Monday, which is the same exact day as the after party. We are finally in endgame now.
Let's go, baby!
It's been so long. Of course, when this trailer comes out, I'll have a full breakdown as soon as I reasonably can, probably a couple of hours after the trailer drops. So subscribe for that, and also subscribe to stay up to date on all things Avatar, as I pretty much cover everything here. Well, at least everything I find interesting. Anyways, that's been the video. See you guys hopefully tomorrow with that trailer breakdown.
I'm so ready.
Percy, I know you feel
Jackson
powerless,
and the Olympians.
but you're not.
Don't call me because I'm not sure. I think it's called Mr. Jackson. The first season of the show. Yeah. Okay. Based on the Lightning Thief. First book. Anyway. I'm pretty excited. I'm pretty hyped right now. Like, put in the comments below what you think, what you're thinking about it, what your thoughts are on everything that we did over in this video today. Thank you to the avatars for making an awesome summary of everything else that came out in the last weeks, days, more not or so. Hype for the trailer drop. Look out for the trailer action. As soon as it drops, I'll be ready to it as soon as I can. And until next time, remember, stay nerdy, gamers.